On the first day of eChristmas, my true love said to me. Hello and welcome. My name's Nathan Lomax, co-founder of Quickfire Digital.
And hi everyone, I'm Harry Willis and I'm from Search 7.
Today we're going to bring you our latest episode from our new campaign, the 12 Days of eChristmas.
Hope you enjoy it. There's going to be loads of tips, loads of advice, getting you ready for 2021.
Welcome to our first episode of the first day of eChristmas. Today it is my huge honour to welcome Mr. Harry Willis to the show. Harry, how's it going?
Hello, yeah, very well, thank you. Thank you for having me on.
No problem. So Harry here is from ShopPop and we'll hear a little bit more about ShopPop shortly. However, before we do, I must introduce my good friend and Rudolph impersonator, Mr. Gav Willis. Gav, how's it going?
I'm very well, how are you?
Yeah, very well, thank you, mate. Not too bad.
Good stuff. Harry, how are you? You okay?
Yeah, very well. Very happy to be on a podcast kind of video with someone with my same surname. So this is a great way to kick off anything.
It's meant to be. So today, obviously we've got Search 7 and Quickfire. So we have 7 Quickfire questions to go through with you.
What you've done there. 7 Quickfire, genius.
Special.
We're going straight in.
It's a special edition.
Yeah.
Especially with our 2 Willises on the show.
Yeah.
So, okay, I'm going to kick things off. So firstly, Harry, please can you tell us a little bit more about you and your role at ShopPop?
Yeah, so Harry Willis, I'm the business development and partnerships head of ShopPop. We help e-commerce companies reach customers directly and drive sales. So we specialize in messaging apps. So that's Messenger, very soon Instagram Direct. I'll touch on that a bit later, but also some tools for WhatsApp as well. Started off in the music industry world, and we saw a big opportunity there for helping artists, festivals reach their audiences directly on messaging apps. And then we now see a massive opportunity over in the e-commerce space. Just launched our new Shopify app. We're coming to Magento, BigCommerce, WooCommerce very soon. So I'm helping people learn how to use messaging apps in their e-commerce strategy, basically.
Amazing.
Harry, that is awesome. And I'm really excited to hear about the Shopify app that's just launched. And it sounds like you're going to the other kind of platforms soon as well. Tell me a little bit more about ShopPop's plans over the Christmas period. Is it now to look at Magento as the next platform, or actually have you got some other exciting plans this Christmas?
So we got WooCommerce, I think will be the next one. That's really exciting for us alongside Shopify. Also working on Shopware as well, big in the German market. So the most exciting thing, which happened actually just yesterday, is we've launched back in stock notifications via Messenger. So as I'm sure you're very aware, a lot of people run this through email currently, if they do have any kind of back in stock attached. We do this now through Facebook Messenger. So essentially, when you have an item that's out of stock, on the Shopify theme, you can automatically have a little call to action, which says notify me when this is back in stock via Messenger. The really nice thing about this is people click it, and then once they have, you can automatically send them a direct message once that comes through. The open rates on direct messages are like 94%. So we've seen from our research that this drives 50% of opted in customers back to the item immediately. So this is something that we're kind of pioneering in the e-commerce space. I haven't really seen anyone running back in stock notifications through Messenger yet. So just dropped yesterday.
Wow, that's really exciting.
Mate, that's a game changer.
Big stuff. I was going to say, Harry, I mean, obviously this year's been pretty tough. I mean, how have you seen things change in terms of, as a result of the pandemic, and have you seen the online behaviors change much?
Yeah, I think, it's been obviously radical changes for everyone. Specifically in the messaging app space, which is where I specialize, there's been a 40% increase in messaging app use, which is just crazy because we were already glued to our messaging apps, whether that's WhatsApp, Instagram, or Apple iMessage. So 40% uptake there. People are turning to social media obviously more now because they're all stuck at home. They're all looking for community. So there's a huge opportunity there on the kind of e-commerce side. We've traditionally used messaging apps for talking to friends and family, and that's been massively jacked up now. But now, whilst people are turning their attention to these apps, yeah, big opportunity in commerce.
So Harry, I'm interested to see, for our customers listening today, how can the rise of voice and visual commerce kind of fit in with that chat marketing piece?
Well, voice is essentially conversational trees. When you are saying a voice command to your Alexa or whatever it might be, that is going to start guiding you through essentially what a text menu is, but you just do it via voice. So it's like the same way that when you're talking to Vodafone and they guide you through certain different menus, it's really a similar experience to using a chatbot with buttons, but you're just doing it through voice. So the limitation, I think, with voice has always been that when you want to use voice, you always have to be somewhere quite private, because you don't want to necessarily just be barking instructions into a phone wherever you are. If you're on the bus or the train, it might not be ideal. So starting off an interaction on voice and then having like a chat handover so that you can continue on your phone if you want to is pretty smart. So yeah, that's where I think the voice side fits into it.
Obviously, Harry, you mentioned earlier about mobile. I mean, everyone's at home at the moment on their mobiles, watching TV, and as you say, the increase has been huge. How would you see that kind of continuing to grow in terms of mobile commerce in 2021?
I think, well, Facebook and Instagram Shops is obviously launching and rolling out everywhere. That's powered in the back end by Shopify, which a lot of people don't quite realize. So that is basically acting like a social media storefront into the e-commerce world. So I think that is going to have an even bigger impact than people realize. The next thing I think that is going to be that's going to be new ground in 2021 is running full customer journeys through the Facebook ecosystem. So right now, you can imagine if you were a customer, you might make a purchase on a site, you might then receive a confirmation via email, then you realize you put in the wrong address, and you're like, damn, okay, I've got to go back to the website, got to open up their web chat in the bottom corner, got to type a request, they're going to say, great, we've got your new address, we're going to send you a confirmation email. So you're all over the place with different platforms and different channels. This means that there's more data loss between these places. It means that the customer journey is very truncated as you go. What we're going to see next year is that with Facebook and Instagram Shops and with the Messenger and Instagram APIs starting to merge, we're going to see that these customer journeys are run entirely through messaging apps. So you might buy something on a Facebook shop, you receive your confirmation via direct message. Well, let's use Instagram for an example, because that's the kind of newer ground. Buy something on Instagram shop, instantly receive the confirmation via Instagram DM, receive your tracking info via Instagram DM. And then if you have any kind of customer services queries, send them a message back. Instantly, they can reply to you in that inbox. And then the retargeting can happen either in direct message form or on the newsfeed again to get you back into that funnel. So that's going to be the full customer journey happening through Facebook, I think.
That's massively exciting to think where it's going. Harry, I'm interested to know, for those listening today, aside from the generic trends of 2021, what are the new releases coming out of ShopPop? Hopefully a bit of an exclusive for us on the show. What can we look forward to as kind of partners and customers of ShopPop? What can we look forward to that we're going to see in 2021 that should really whet the appetite of some of our listeners today?
I think the biggest thing to watch out for is rolling consent. So traditionally, everyone has, like, email's a prime example. You sign up for an email newsletter. You are therefore, for the rest of your life, bombarded with emails, basically, from a brand. People can overuse it, they can underuse it. And it's a kind of, once you have consent, there is an open channel. Facebook are pushing more for rolling consent. So what this means is people opt in for what's called a one-time notification about something particularly important. So that might be, hey, we need a back in stock notification about this. Do you want to opt in for, when these new trainers go on sale? So people can opt in for that. You send them a one-time notification about that very specific thing, which means the engagement rates are extremely high. And then when you send them that update, you could also ask, hey, we've got the next range is coming out in April. Would you like to opt in for a direct message notification then? So you get this kind of rolling audience happening where there's constant consent checks. which is very in line with the kind of way that privacy is moving, especially in the EU, where it's moving a lot faster than over in the States. But I expect the States will be following in that way as well. So rolling consent.
A lot of that's going to be automated, right, Harry? So people listening haven't got to worry about, oh, crumbs, what's that going to mean for our kind of privacy policies and things going forward. Actually, a lot of this stuff can be automated, meaning that they won't have to do a lot of the heavy lifting.
Yeah, exactly. It can all be automated. It can all be set up in very nice kind of templated flows, as we call them. So that's very simple, but it's just a bit more about flipping your mindset from, okay, how many newsletter subscribers can we get? And how much can we send them where it's just, we can hope that we can please as many people as possible, much more to much smaller segments of your audience, and trying to kind of super serve those super fans and people who are going to be ambassadors for your brand, and giving them that type of one-on-one experience, because messaging apps we've been using to talk to for friends for such a long time, that it's still a very special attention space. So if you can give people that special experience of, hey, I've opted in for these trainers, hey, first name, here's the trainers, just wanted to let you know we've also included you in a competition, for example. That's a really nice way that you can start to super serve those people. But yeah, rolling consent is going to be something which I think everyone is going to flip around their mindset from just generally onboarding people onto a endless newsletter, more through to tiny segments, and really trying to serve those people well.
And it's interesting, people seem to be focusing more on relevance, right? So it seems to be logical that we would go this way, that actually everything is super targeted, super relevant, and almost personalized or bespoke, so that your needs are catered for, as opposed to Gav's needs or my needs. Everyone will be different, and therefore your consent logically would be different as well.
Yeah, and I mean, from the actual platform point of view, it's a win-win as well, because the consent means that people are receiving things that they want, and the engagement rates are just massively higher. So yeah, relevancy means higher engagement rates, and everyone is generally happier. And especially on such a high attention space as a messaging app, you need to make sure that you're using it in that high value way. So yeah, that's the kind of flip that I think is going to happen.
Gav, I'm sorry, I'll give you a go in a second. My mind is now.
I know. For you talking about development, you must be like, wow, this is pretty cool.
I'm just really interested to know, in terms of, if we follow that logic going forwards, will it also reduce costs for people, because they're not having to say reach 2,500 people, they're actually reaching 250 people, but those people are all actively ready to receive something, and therefore have shown intent or a purchasing signal, as opposed to just a blanket 2,500 because they purchased something 10 years ago and therefore they get that message.
Yeah, it should do. I think, yeah, gone will be the days of just having a big bloated list that you just throw things out to, but then you also obviously have to pay for that list, even when leads have kind of died and they haven't come back to your site in years. So this is more of a cleaner data set, and if you have 1,000 people who are being super served and they're really engaged, that very often is going to drive more revenue for your store than having like 100,000 people on an email list who only 1% open it. So yeah, it should save costs as well.
I was going to say, Harry, in terms of the kind of personalized approach and the more behavior kind of targeting, it's kind of like what we've seen over the years with Google, in terms of how they serve ads to people based on relevancy, based on their behaviors, and it's really exciting stuff. Like for you guys to be kind of doing this like next year and rolling that out is along those lines of just making sure the user gets the best experience possible.
Yeah, definitely. And because that's the whole other flip side to using Facebook and Instagram, is that when someone opens a conversation with you in a direct messaging sense, you automatically collect a lot of information from them. So there's what's on the Facebook public data, which is like name, time zone, gender, language, which all can be quite useful for various different segmentation. But the really interesting stuff is asking people manual questions. So to use like a very crude example, what is your favorite t-shirt color, red or green? You have two different buttons. If you feed 1,000 people through that flow, you might instantly know that 700 people prefer red t-shirts. Let's make a segment of those red t-shirt fans and run a Facebook ad on those people. So with red creative, for example.
Yeah.
So yeah, that kind of stuff can get really interesting, especially when you're feeding that data to external places, like connecting it through to Salesforce for people's sizes, for example, if you were going to survey people's t-shirt size. So you can get a lot deeper than the data which is just available from a social media sense.
Harry, I can see Rudolph nodding furiously, so we must have hit a positive chord there. Guys, I'm conscious of time. We've got one more question. Gav, I leave this with you. One big question, and arguably the most important question of today. Over to you, sir. What is it?
There's been some great insights today, Harry, so thank you so much for that. Absolutely brilliant. I'm sure the listeners will actually get a lot of value from that. But there's one big question, it's the serious one. What's on the top of your own Christmas list this year?
Oh man, usually it's Glastonbury Festival ticket. Oh. That's usually the one, and it's bitter to say, but I'm worried that maybe it's not going to come through. But my one from last year is rolling across to next year, so that's kind of off the cards. But this year, I'm just trying I don't want more objects in my life, basically. Anything I do I would just like to be from quite a sustainable brand. So that's one thing I'm kind of trying to look at a bit. People like Finisterre or Patagonia and those kind of brands so I need a few new clothes and things. So that's going to be the one, but I don't want to just bring more stuff into my life.
Yeah. I think it's fair to say, if Santa's listening, bypass Harry's place. He's not that interested, and actually come to Gather-Eyes instead. I think that's a lovely way to end.
That's the message.
Harry, I really appreciate your time today. It's been hugely insightful. As always, great to catch up. Final thing, if anyone is looking to find out more about ShopPop or get engaged, where can they find out, book a demo, find out more about the platform and see how they can integrate it into their own e-commerce strategy?
Yeah, go to shoppop.com and my email is harry@shoppop.com. So if you want to drop me a message, I can give you a little discount as well, courtesy of Quickfire too. So
12 days of Christmas.
There we go. Gifts all round for everyone.
Our very own Santa. Harry, awesome to have you on, mate. Really good.
Cheers, Harry.
Thank you all for listening, and I look forward to seeing you.
Thanks, Gavin. Thanks, Nick. See you guys.